Greetings to all who wish to be greeted. I'm MegaPacKid, and this is my game shelf. Being a video game collector, it's pretty obvious that I like things that are physical. I collect physical games for physical systems. I mean, I have one right here. So, what about mobile games? I've delved into mobile games before with things like PewDiePie's Tuber Simulator and even referencing Mario Kart Tour, both of which I've enjoyed very much. However, there's a separate type of mobile game, a mobile game that isn't an app. It's a game within an app. Filter games, specifically games done for filters like TikTok or Snapchat, or even Instagram has a few of these. But today I'm going to be delving into the ones on TikTok, because these are incredibly interesting. Being a show that airs on YouTube, I'm a little out of my element with TikTok, but I know exactly who to call in order to help me out.
Talk to me.
Hey!
Hey, how's it going?
I'm making a video about TikTok. What do I need to know?
I don't know. I'm not really a popular TikToker. I barely even post.
Just because I have TikTok in my name, I know everything about TikTok. This is like the dumbest idea you've had. In fact, I'm pretty sure you...
I don't know what their problem was.
That's how you get out of doing work.
Right off the bat, we have a game based on the hot dog race from various baseball games. This one isn't built very well and can be easily cheesed. You can start running before the countdown even starts. This one's a good mind game, but the voice recognition has some problems.
Orange.
It made me realize that TikTok's text color options don't include pink. Weird. For some of these games, it's difficult to say anything critical about it. Like, what do I say about this? It's just a test of reaction time. A rare occurrence, this game has instructions. Use your hands to sort the cats and dogs into separate piles. Meat icons can give you bonus points if sorted with your pile, but can also end the game if you don't sort fast enough. This game is alright, but I didn't really feel like there was a challenge. The icons move down too slowly and are ultimately too floaty to really feel like there's any skill going on here. This one's a memory game, which is great because I love memory games, but unfortunately I don't think this one has a definitive ending or a way to win, but you know, I guess it's good if you like playing these kinds of things forever. This game is a lot like the Fly Swatter minigame from Super Mario Maker and originally Mario Paint. The difference between this and those, though, is that those had really responsive controls, and this doesn't. For some reason, the controls for the touch screen, which you'd think would be the most precise out of any type of controls for these games, doesn't work very well. Oh yeah, now time for some real gameplay. This game is about blinking as many times as you can within the allotted time frame. TikTok's blinking recognition actually isn't very good, so I don't know why they made this. Tap the numbers in order as quickly as you can. This game has no right being as fun as it is, and it's functional, which can't be said about every other game on this list. Here's an example of TikTok's blinking recognition not working, because this game is very difficult, but not because of its nature, but because it just doesn't work most of the time. And when it does work, you're just so excited that it worked at all that you end up messing up. But fortunately, I was able to get a good take here. This isn't a blinking game, it's a winking game. You wink in order to get the wheels onto the F1 car. It honestly felt pretty random as if I got anything. This hot dog eating contest game is very easily cheesable as well, because TikTok doesn't know the difference between a closed mouth and a hand over an open mouth. So this one is very easy to do if you just do the John Cena "you can't see me" thing. I'd like to see Joey Chestnut beat my record in this game. tilting your head to answer questions is a staple of TikTok quiz filters, but this is the only one that's classified as a game. Each correctly answered math question is 20 points, and you lose the second you get one wrong. The questions vary wildly in difficulty, and it's ultimately a little weird. This game is all about choosing the color that's different from all the rest. One of these things is not like the other, and it's your job to sniff it out. I'm colorblind. Here's a really popular one, the block stacking game. You stop the blocks from moving when you blink. If only TikTok's blinking recognition worked 100% of the time. An odd trend I found was games that track your nose in order to drag a little thing through a maze that scrolls automatically. This one is the first of that bunch, Cheese Hunt, and it's actually pretty fun. I really liked it, and it gave me a good challenge. This is a space kart racer. It controls the way that I imagined Mario Kart Tour was going to control, using tilt controls. It controls as well as Mario Kart 7's tilt controls, so hey, that's a plus. This is actually a really fun game. I recommend playing this one. Speaking of Mario games, this is actually very similar to the matching minigames in Super Mario Bros. 3. Except it's worse because it doesn't lock everything to the middle. It just lets you press whenever, and whenever you have everything there, that's the way it is. It's so odd and bad. This is a game about hula hooping. It prioritizes hip gyrations over actual hula hoop techniques. Like, I've hula hooped before and I've never had to do this, but it works. More than I can say about these games. This one isn't even a game. I don't know why it's included in the games folder, because it's not one. There's no way to win. There's no UI or anything. It's just tracing shapes. There's not even a score. Here's an example of a game in which there are things that appear on the screen while recording that don't appear when you publish the video. Here it wants you to make all sorts of poses while playing red light, green light, and I'm not sure of the purpose. Here's a fun game. You try to shoot these balls through the hole in this shield. This one's really fun. I like this one. I love games like this too. This one has you follow a heart that gets covered under identical pieces of wood, and you have to follow it to make sure you pick the right one when they all get shuffled. Super fun. I adore games like this. This game is boring and also pretty easily cheesable. It has you try not to yawn, but you can yawn with your mouth closed. In fact, I did it while recording this TikTok for this video. This game is another brain teaser, and I didn't do very well in it, and coincidentally, I didn't like it very much. Wow, who knew? It has you find the adjacent letter in the alphabet, but you're using a QWERTY keyboard layout. Not very fun in my opinion. This game was frustrating, it didn't function, and I hated it. You have to shake the camera in the direction that you want the thing to go in, and it barely works! 0 out of 10. This maze game is stupid easy because the walls have no barriers. Like, there's no consequence for hitting a wall. And you may think, oh, well, it may just have a high tolerance because of the difficulty of using this on a touch screen, like with your finger covering everything. But no, because I can do this! Here's another game that didn't function correctly. This game has you nod your head to the beat, but I think it only works with a few songs because this one didn't work with Megalovania, which is a real shame because I have to use music that won't get me copyright striked. This game is a fun challenge. You have to catch the string of gummy bears. You lose if you miss even one. This one looks goofy to onlookers, but then again you could say that about most of these games. This is another one of those color matching games. I'm not sure why there are multiples of these. I mean, what would you get out of one that you wouldn't get out of the other? Well, what you get out of this is neck pain. This is a reaction time game. It times how long it takes you to blink when a certain color comes on screen. Not much more to say about it. This next game speaks for itself. Annoyingly, I might add.
This game sucks.
You need to use a high-pitched voice in order to raise the thing.
I do not have a high voice.
It's annoying to play, and it's annoying for the people around you.
It's just Flappy Bird. Darn it.
This game has you drawing with your nose, another thing that TikTok filters like to do. This is less of a game and more of a pot decal design tool that's on a timer. This game is meant to be played with 2 players, but I eventually figured out how to do it on my own. It's not too dissimilar from Pong, so it's alright in that regard, but honestly, there are more fun games on this list. This game is also similar to Flappy Bird, but the enemies are more varied, and unlike the last one, it uses blinking, which is much more precise than using your voice, but the ascension still isn't quick enough. This game has you trace a randomly selected shape within 10 seconds. It doesn't look like there's any way to win or lose, you just do it in 10 seconds, I guess. This game's a boxing game that you supposedly control with your eyebrows and also requires 2 players. Again, I didn't feel like getting 2 players, and I honestly don't know how you control this anyway, so whatever. This is another game that tracks your nose to control something through a maze. This one is also alright, just like the others. I don't know what else to say about it. Another one of these damn maze games. Look, this wouldn't seem as repetitive as it is if these were levels in a game, but they're individual games, so it does seem repetitive. Whatever, 10 out of 10, just like the others. This game is weird. It needs you to nod on cue, but it barely works most of the time. I don't know. I didn't like it very much. This thing at the end's a cool effect, though. This Snake game controlled with your nose is pretty fun, but of course Snake is always fun. I love Snake so much. So many things are controlled with your nose in these games that it would honestly be surprising if something wasn't controlled with your nose. Anyway, this game is good arcade fun. You pop balloons with a pin that is tracked with your nose. It's great. This game is based on the red light, green light portion from the Netflix original series Squid Game. You have to open your mouth to move your character when the baby is not looking at you. It's alright. This is a game that times how quickly you can blink. I thought it was the opposite at first. This is a game about trying to balance a spinning basketball on your finger. I have never been able to do this in real life, and it looks like I can't do it in the game either. Here's another game based on Squid Game. This has to do with the honeycomb game from that series. I don't think there's a way to win this because no matter how many times I tried, I just couldn't get a win screen from this game. This is an augmented reality maze game. It is the coolest out of all of these conceptually, but functionally it doesn't work very well. The maze seems to have a hard time staying on model relative to wherever you are, and of course there's no hitbox, so there's nothing stopping you from going right through the middle. Here's some nightmare fuel for you. You have to catch your own face. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of hit or miss, but I eventually got into a good rhythm with this game. This game's fun. You gotta get a big ol' stack of ice cream while avoiding other non-ice cream foods. I like this one. Here's a uniquely controlled game. This woodpecker is controlled by you aggressively nodding your head. I love headbanging and woodpecking. Wait. Remember that game I thought was a staring contest earlier? Well, this is actually a staring contest, except it doesn't work most of the time. You can see here that I'm clearly not blinking, and yet the game thinks I am. Why? I end up having to open my eyes as wide as possible, which is self-sabotage with this sort of thing. This game is kind of like if Pac-Man were turned into a carnival game. There's no maze, and there's a severe time limit. Not to mention he's controlled with your nose, but that's kind of a staple of these TikTok filter games. It's really fun. This is a juggling game. The aesthetics remind me of block breakers like Breakout and Arkanoid, but there are no blocks to break in this game. The challenge comes from keeping at least one ball in the air. it's kind of weird that you only have to keep one in the air despite it giving you multiple balls. It's essentially like you're getting free points because you get a point every time your ball touches your paddle. Not very challenging, but still fun. This game is an Easter egg hunt, and sometimes the eggs don't count, and I'm not really sure what the rhyme or reason is for eggs being real or fake. Not gonna lie, this game isn't very fun. This game has you blinking in order to control a pawn from chess. Will it jump? Will it not? Who's to say? TikTok really can't tell whenever someone's blinking. Some of these games I only did one take for, and others I got my best take. This was the best one. This game involves you having to draw something within the allotted time. It's more like a party game because the game doesn't actually know how much you drew, so I don't know, I thought it was fun. Just kind of pointless. This is Sudoku. I like Sudoku, just not necessarily this version. This is a tightrope balancing game with both an easy and a difficult mode. The easy mode is simply a hold still mode, or very least don't move your head vertically, whereas the difficult mode is just slightly harder. I don't know, I didn't have much trouble with this, but I guess someone might. I like puzzle games, but most of the time when people say puzzle, they think of a jigsaw puzzle, and this game is actually that. It's a jigsaw puzzle with an Easter egg. I don't know, I think it looks nice, and it gives you a cute filter at the end. You'd think if TikTok can't recognize blinking that it definitely wouldn't be able to do hand signals as well as it does, but it does hand signals really well. This game is super fun, but doesn't really have an ending to it. This is another spot the difference game with colors. I'm still colorblind. This isn't so much of a game as it is a window washing simulator. You shake your hand around the screen in order to dry it off. TikTok isn't the best at recognizing the waving hand, but it's fine. It's passable. This game involves making a snowflake with, of course, your nose. It's very similar to folding a piece of paper a bunch of times and then making cuts in it, which I really like. I think the snowflake turned out well. I've saved the best for last, the darts game. Look at how good I am. Look at how amazing I am at this game. I love it so much, and I love it because I'm amazing at it, and also it's a good game.
So those are the TikTok games. Definitely fun little distractions, but not so great for content. Although I suppose the views that I've gotten may disagree. I don't think so many of them should classify as games per se, but they're definitely good little time wasters. So that's why it's called TikTok.